There's always something you can take, that you can't, as long as you are not banning them and they are banning them, then some are still left open.
You're gonna get them.
So Fish Market will be the next map, ladies and gents, on this one. Fish Market, though, is Fish Market going to be a way to circumvent some of the flank potential? Because let's say, for example, is it though? Because Andrew maybe not the best flank on Fish Market. The long lines of sight make it a little bit harder for him to push in. By the time you've pushed in on Fish Market, you should have taken a significant amount of damage from somewhere, as long as the enemy team is aware. But when you're looking at 7, that doesn't matter, because he's just going to zip line across the entire map anyway, from angles that you don't think to be aware of, because normally, normal characters don't go for certain flank routes, because if you're going to cross the water side from spawn, that doesn't matter. It's 7. He can do that, no problem.
He's flying, man. And hopefully we will be playing up the draft very soon for the casters too. But I think it's funny how so much of this gets put on on the draft, because both these teams can pretty obviously they can play these comps well. It's just at this point I don't even know how we would need the draft screen pulled up if that is possible, but it's, I don't know, it is really interesting, because again it looks like we're banning flanks again, but we also did ban Corvus by the looks of it. So no one's going to be getting that this game. So how...
Same flanks. The Koga hasn't been banned here.
That's true, actually. Is a Fish Market thing, you think?
Well, Fish Market, it's... Yeah,
it's still good, right?
No, I don't know if it's still good, because he suffers even more. As I was saying, for example, Andrew on this map, if Andrew pushes in on this map, he's got to use his triple dashes to get in if he wants to get into the back line successfully, unless he walks the whole way there. And by the time you get there, you should have taken damage. And I think, personally, I would say that Koga would suffer a lot more from that than any of the other flanks might potentially do. So... I probably wouldn't feel comfortable taking Koga on this map. And as well, the range that you might have to fight at on this map with Koga, you're going to be doing tickle damage. You're not going to be doing the headshot big boy numbers that you need to do that you could achieve on other maps.
It is a little funky, but we are going to get the V in boat 7 again. We are having a bit of draft issues on our screens. Click into the...
mine is unfortunately saying pause, and I cannot see the draft at the moment, ladies and gents.
So what we are seeing from John, I've got the stream put up. We the Ruckus and the Rom again, but this time with the 7, and Harris going for the Lex.
Oh, they did Koga.
So these controller flanks, they're coming up again, but John trying to take the best of both worlds maybe. And yeah, for sure. So. It worked. It's hopefully it is going to work, because I mean, it looks like both teams are, again, they're trying to take the best of their previous comps. They got the Con for Harris worked really well. Maybe the Rom Ruckus, they think it worked for John. They just needed fewer tanks, more 7, more B and boat airlines again.
Yeah, I mean, the things that I was saying previously as well about the Koga having to push in and should have taken significant damage, is not relevant if John are going for a composition that isn't holding a backline approach, I mean, a Ruckus and a Ram are going to be pushing in anyway, so the Koga doesn't have to cross the whole map. They're going to be able to meet in the middle or meet on their own terms. And I mean, it really does seem like a mixed match here, doesn't it? I think both teams are trying to create that draft now, rather than going for the triple tank versus the triple flank. It's looking more towards like they're both easing into, as you said, a combination of the two.
Harris doesn't want to play against the triple tank, though. They will ban out the Azan. So maybe he's still a little scared of that. Maybe...
I mean, Azan performed well last round. If you're not taking percentage-based damage, Azan becomes very difficult. Azan wasn't good because you're playing into a Sky. So his damage reduction capabilities don't really work as well as Octavia. Okay, so here's where we start seeing the long-range DPS. And this is where the Koga is going to start to struggle.
Yeah, I think I really like the Octavia. I think it's good. I think
Oh yeah,
it
for
sets
sure.
up your team
Fantastic map as
well.
well.
It's great for controller backline. It's a great Wrecker and Decon. I think Wrecker and Decon is just so important. Now let's see what they
Oh
go
yeah.
for with the support, because I mean you got some great options open. You got the Furia, you got the Lilith. I'm really leaning towards the Furia myself. I think the ult is good. I think Furia ult is good.
Furio
Might
is
be a hot take,
fantastic.
but I think at this point you're looking to see what John pick up for his support. And Harris, like, do they go for triple DPS again? Is that the answer to the ROM? Even though maybe you're not getting the Sky, you're not getting the Corvus.
I don't know. I'm going to be entirely honest with you. These drafts are so completely alien to me that I genuinely have no idea what the answer is to either one of these drafts.
You can't even just take the meta into consideration. You can't even just consider what's strong. You have to consider literally the players, the map, and like at what point we're at in the series. Because maybe first game they would have picked something different. They would have tried different things. But now as they will lock in the Fury on Team John's side, and Harris, they go for triple DPS are the more standard 2 tanks to match the.
I don't like
There's
that.
something new.
I don't like it.
Something new. You don't like it?
In fact, I hate it. I think that genuinely that's maybe
the character pick. Like, is it
the character pick?
okay?
Every single member on John's squad does significant headshot damage.
That's
to
actually true.
Yagarath. The Ruckers, every single one of them, all they have to do is shoot Yagarath's chin, and it's 100% headshot.
It's gonna be scary for her, but I don't know if that's what. Like, I think it's gonna suck when she doesn't have her ult. But I think that if you can get into the backline and pop the ult and you have the follow up,
if that Yagarath gets a successful ult off this game, I will be very surprised.
I mean, me too, to be honest. But I don't even know if she needs to get it off. She just needs to make space. It's just like Yag has been nerfed to the point where it's still doable, but it's so hard to actually get the timing right on a good Yag dive, especially on Fishman. Like these flanks aren't the most mobile. Like Koga, Blacks, they have their mobility, they're fast, but are you gonna be able to follow up a character who literally has? I mean, we've been talking this like all game, like amount for mobility, like you know. So it'll be really interesting to see, but like. Looking at the opposite side of the end on John's, they have the Octavia, they have their backline, very aggressive. And what are you even going to be aggressive to? Harris, Blacks, Koga, like weird.
Peculiar drafts. I have to side with John here though. After the Yago pick,
2, 1.
Yeah,
in my opinion. I mean, maybe they're going to do something that I'm just not seeing, but. I can't see how the Yagarath does something of value.
He goes B and boat once again into the backline, his home territory there. Does have the Fury to keep him alive this game, not relying on the Corvus Mark. Ruckus still on mount, both teams just slowly poking at each other, no movement really from anyone. Ruckus is going to stay on mount, finally does get dismounted. Looks like John taking more the right side, Harris taking the left.
They're just rotating around each other at the moment.
No moves really made yet. It's really.
It's quite a common technique on Fish Market though, just to rotate around your enemy. But when you're looking at this ability to just consistently rotate around each other, John wins the fight because of Octavia. In fact, John wins the fight not just because of Octavia, but because of Seven as well. Seven's range for a flank is probably one of the best poke range damage in the game for a flank.
Not winning the fight too hard yet. Those gets poked out from no objective pressure yet. We're 2 minutes in. Finally, someone makes a move. The Ruckus goes in. Rom dashes in. No dash. He's going to end up going through. The Koga's going to be the one to go down first. B and Boat escapes from the backline. Gets one on the way out. Gets 3 on the way out.
Triple kill for B and Boat.
Finally. The Yag's going to be able to get out because the character is a ball. Does that beam
hits? If that beam hits, please.
I
don't think she does get out, bro. Like when she is ball, she is so unbelievably vulnerable. And when you have a character like Seven that can just chase anyone, that mobility doesn't matter. That 7 can get into a position where you have to push into hit. Oh, that was an incredible ult. Does she have to jump?
No,
Does
she
she get back on? Doesn't matter.
She's still alive. Oh, she falls off. Denies the kill credit, which is most important. But you know what's even more important is the first objective, and that goes the way of Team John.
What did she do there? She jumped, used her aim, I guess, to stay in the air for long enough that it
I
no
mean, you
longer
know what?
counted
I
as
guess
a kill.
I like the 20 credits for getting a kill, I guess. Yeah,
She got her ult. Is she going to get the ult off?
Getting body blocked, yeah, she will end up getting the ult off. I don't think they're wrong.
Okay, fair enough. I think my own words. She got an ult off, but she
ult.
got an ult off in her spawn against one character
Valuable, that.
when the enemy captured the point. So, maybe not the most amount of value.
Maybe not.
I guess it helps the defense. And there you go. Look. As soon as the Koga has to try and push in, absolutely melted by the Octavia. Fury Beam goes up. Khan's shield goes down. Khan is so vulnerable right now. Tries to take out another angle. And who's around the corner? Boat in the back line, as always.
The one and only. And Team John is rolling. This is, I mean, if you don't count that 2-minute long, basically 3-minute long mid-fight, this has been a pretty fast push. So
It's kind of crazy how fast the game went from having 0% capture point to John having the point captured.
I know. It's
Like,
kinda,
I think from the point that they touched it, there was no contention at all. I mean, how could they? The remaining end of the team was just completely dead. Nice ult from Octavia, forcing the enemies back here. They do try and push her out, but not really a whole lot they can do. Be in the boat. Oh, huge ult. At least 3 there feared from the 7 ult. They try and get a good angle on B on boat. Bit of damage from Nadit, but it doesn't matter. They pushed it in.
pushed it in. I mean, if you're going to commit to this Yag, man, if you're going to commit to the Yag, you cannot let her roll in and die. Like, she is going to die eventually. That's kind of the character. She's going to roll in. She's going to pop ult. She might get it off. Who knows? She might not. She probably won't. And she's gonna
I genuinely cannot understand in any way, shape, or form the purpose of Yagarath right now in this match.
Just to defend it for a little bit, just to play devil's advocate, right? At this point, like, it's the space, and like that's a meme, right? You die, you say, "Oh, I made space," but like that's really what Yag does, because in the time that it does take to kill her, she's turning around like 3-4 people.
I think you're overestimating how fast, or underestimating how fast a Yagarath dies to headshot damage.
I know, man. It's I'm not saying
Like,
it's
she
good.
actually gets melted. Like, you
off
can kill a Yagarath faster than you can kill a Khan before you have Wrecker online. Like, that Khan can live longer than a Yagarath.
Looks like a bit speedier.
Good use of Master Riding to get in, but they just rotate around them.
Tunnel misses though, so we're back into this poke fight that favored Team John in the first place. It's like a really heavy stack from Harris. Rizzo getting pressure.
Look at the poke. Like, what do they do to push at them now? There you go. Yagarath dead.
Jeez. I didn't even see what happened to him. That's kind of crazy.
You can't get into them. They have crazy poke potential.
Fear catches B and Boat. He's gonna go down.
Fear. I think that's B and Boat's mistake pushing in there. To be perfectly honest.
That's a bit funky. The Yag does respawn. And John backs off the objective in the super awkward fight down here. The Ruckus is just gonna get Yagarath ulted, and Arslan gets a beam dropped on his head. Foe's maybe getting pressured a little bit. He might need some help. He's trying to give the Khan the
You're all away though.
You gotta get away. No way, dude. Your team's already won the fight. That was for the KD, man. That was for the KD.
No.
John is running over them.
Yagarath needs to try and get a touch here, but I don't think he's going to be able to. Look at this. Look at this. Look at this.
Oh my. Look at this.
Yeah,
okay,
I'm looking at a dead worm is what I'm looking at. That is exactly what I knew was going to happen for most of this game. As soon as she ults, the headshot potential from John's team is far too much for a Yagarath pick.
Alright, so let's say it's not the egg, because at this point, like, they've got to figure something out. Like, we can say, damn, this pick sucks, but like, they've got to figure something out. They've got to change something. What on earth do you change? Team John is running over you. The Kogal,
I don't think there's anything to change.
Really awkward spot. He's gonna stay alive for just a little bit longer. DM Boat is gonna end up 3, killing 2, killing 3. Just sends into the back line because he feels like it. Might get the kill on Freeze on this. Whatever the Connaught does.
Nice. Oh.
That's maybe the one saving.
Okay. Oh, Ratatouille gets a nice pickup in reverse. So they've lost 2 here now. They've lost the healer and their tank. This is not looking good.
Yag. Bye, Yag. Have a nice run into the losers bracket.
Bro.
Get out of here, says Team John. We made a mistake that second game. Never again. Never again.
Absolutely melted there, dude.
Absolutely just bowled over. That's insane.
Oh, and they could have killed a Khan in that situation.
That's
Ooh, gone.
get her out of here. Oh, she's
That
done.
was crazy. Absolutely ridiculous.
I mean, geez, like, I think you see some big draft differences there, honestly. Like, maybe not so much the first game. I think the first game there was a lot of adaptations, a lot of cool things. Second game, I think you saw the adaptation into this ramen ruckus type thing that you usually see. But then I think it's almost like that. Like that's the evolution from the meta. It's like, okay, maybe we don't invest in. Maybe we don't go full crazy. We don't go triple tank. We don't go like do flanks. We stabilize a little bit. We don't lock another tank. We take a backliner. So Arian's slightly just a bit more standard. And it worked out really well. Like, I mean, they forwarded them in like 7 minutes. So I think that's working out pretty well. But
I think having intentionally left picks open that they think are very strong, like the Koga. Like if you ban something against a team every single time, they keep banning Koga, and then eventually they let you have it. You know, you think, oh, fantastic, they've let us have the Koga. But into that you get the Octavia, and the Koga just doesn't work well into the Octavia. I think that from that point onwards, they were already at a deficit. They were already at a disadvantage. They needed from that point to have range poke of their own. They've given up more poke control because it's Koga versus 7 as well. So they've got double poke potential against them. And then instead of doing something against that, they've gone and doubled down into their draft, which just doesn't help out with the Agarath. And I think overall it was 100% just the last game there, just purely drafts. The first game came down to just playing. The second game came down to outdraft, and then the third game as well came down to outdraft, in my opinion.
Well, I am personally very glad that we will be seeing more of the B and Boat Airlines going into the future.
True.
That was. I mean, that was just fun to watch, man.
It was amazing.
That was good, but yeah, that is gonna wrap up this set. B and Boat Team John. They are going to be moving on. I'm not even sure what round that was, but we're starting to get some really good sets here. So,
the back and forth now has been really good, and I expect the same from the next game here now as well.
Yeah, we've got some purity sets, so I'm really looking forward to it. So the next set actually is Sophia versus Betten, which if you guys know these rosters, listen, if you've ever been following Paladins tournaments, you know who Sophia is. They're the people who come in first. So,
That's
now,
true.